Okay, everybody, I'll try to keep it brief tonight because I know we've spent a lot of time on getting involved. But I do want to take the time to speak to you tonight about teamwork and team and the true meaning of what team is. I also want to talk about the power of being able to influence others and to create a winning mindset. You know, a winning mindset is dictated by a lot of things, folks. It's clearing out the mind and it is preparing yourself to win, to be willing to do the things necessary to clear out all of the clutter so that you can put the things in that will lead you to a winning scenario and a different mindset. So when when I spoke a little about it, uh, I'm sure that all of you know that uh, have you ever wondered? Let me just start it this way. Have you ever wondered why some people just seem to be better at everything? They handle stress better. They operate with more mental clarity. Uh, they have that air of confidence about them, and they know exactly what they want, and then they go about and they get it. Well, when you look at them, they don't appear to be any smarter or more talented or better in any way than you. Yet they get the results. Look, I don't care how good you think you are, you can always improve your results. You know, I've shown thousands of people how to do exactly that, to improve their results. Sure, we all have an incredible potential. And I've had people to say to me, why is it that we don't always live up to that potential? And what are those instrumental qualities that create amazing levels of success in some people and yet create failure in others? And when I stop and think about it, I really thought about a key word that would go along with that. And I would have had to say that the difference is behavior. Now, let me kind of break that down for you. I did a research study with a bunch of people around the world. And I found through extensive research that it's all about our behavior that holds us back more than any other reason. And so I set about to find out what really does cause our behavior, what directs our behavior. And so what I did was I outlined the word behavior, and the first thing I came up with is our beliefs. Our beliefs dictate a lot about how we react to things. They dictate to us uh, what we believe is who we are, and how we will react to the different things. And when I thought about the next letter in behavior, I thought about emotions. Emotions are a funny thing. They control us in so many different ways, from happiness to joy to sadness and tears. Our emotions play a huge part in our levels that we will obtain in success. A person who controls their emotions and is able to stay calm in a very stressed environment has a better chance of succeeding than a person that becomes easily flustered and just flies off the handle or just crouches in a corner and cries because they are so emotional. And as I thought about those two things, well, it's our beliefs and our emotions. And generally, what your beliefs and emotions do is they create the next thing that leads to uh, the winning mindset, and that's habits. You know, old, I know you've all heard the saying that old habits die hard, and that a habit is nothing more than something that we have done so many times over and over that it's become a complete part of us, and we do it, if you would, out of habit. So our beliefs and emotions have a lot to do with our having a winning mindset, but also our habits. You know, if you learn how to wipe out negative habits and then replace them with positive ones over, you will find that in most cases, over 90% of everything you do in the course of a day is a habit. You get up in the morning, you go to the bathroom, you wash your face, you prepare for work, you go to the kitchen, you make your coffee or do whatever your daily tasks are, you get dressed, you head out. All of those things are habits. And unfortunately, what we do is we oftentimes develop bad habits, habits that are not productive, that are not positive in their nature, that are not good for us. And so the challenge is to get out of our comfort zone and break our habits, to stay calm in our emotions, to take the negative beliefs we may have, such as I can't, I don't, I won't ever be able to do that. He's better than I am, so I can't ever be as good as him. And all of that, the behaviors that lead to those habits has to be removed. You have to take them out of your life, and then you need to replace them the same way as you incurred the previous habits and emotions and beliefs. And you have to replace them with the good things like knowledge and joy and wisdom and understanding and compassion. Those are the habits that make a winning mindset. Caring about others. The negative habits always control us. Well, likewise, if we remove them and replace them with positive habits, how much further can we go? Now, when we stop and think about our beliefs and how our emotion plays a big game or part of the game, and how all of that leads to our habits, what's the one thing that we generally leave out? And I thought about that for a while, and I thought about, well, we are who we associate with. How many times in your youth or throughout your life did maybe a parent or someone in your family or a close friend say, you don't want to hang out with those people over there. They got some really bad habits and they will get you in trouble. So it's our associations that mean so very much and form the habits and emotions and beliefs that we have. Who we surround ourselves with, 9 times out of 10, is who we become. And keep in mind that we only use about 10% of our mind in an active state. 90% of our mind is, I'm trying to keep this old headset on, 90% of our mind is nothing more than habit. Ask yourself this: do you control your habits or do they control you? Do you associate with the proper people and surround yourself with positive influence? Or do you each day just surround yourself with the same old people that nothing new's happening? You know them so well that you can predict whether they're mad, whether they're glad, whether they're miserable, whether they're broke, whatever. We have to get out of our comfort zone, folks. We have to create associations because what we put into our mind, 10% of it, is a cognitive action that we use every day. 90% of it is filed away where? In our subconscious. Well, the mind doesn't know the difference between the truth and a lie. It accepts information on face value. It doesn't determine whether that's true or that's false. What it does is it files the information away. If we enter all of that information in, and it has little or no value, if we continuously place all of this into our subconscious mind, then what's going to come out? The only thing that can come out is what we've entered in, correct? So when we start to think about our associations and how the people we hang with form a lot of our habits, we oftentimes use our emotions the same as they do. If you're running in a little gang, then you got the same mentality and emotions as that gang. If they're all mad, you're mad. If they're all glad, you're glad. And it forms your belief pattern. And something that really made a lot of sense to me at that point when I thought about it, because I'm trying to work this word out, it was beliefs, emotion, habits, and associations all lead to our values. So values are a huge part of a winning mindset. It's your values is really, if you stop and think about it, one of the secrets to a lasting success. Realizing the role of your deepest desires in here plays a driving force in your life. So as we think about it and we look at our values, if they're not what they should be, and it's kind of like what I taught you, I am what I am now becoming. And how would the person I would like to become do the things that I'm about to do now? It's like the difference between hopeless and hope. It forms, if you would, all of these things that I've spoken about now in spelling the word behavior is our beliefs, our emotions, our habits, our associations, and our values forms our identity. It creates who we are. We are. Our sense of identity is formed by all those previous letters and things I've told you. Our identity is so important because it displays all of the previous things, our values, our habits. It aligns us with the people that we associate with. It plays with our emotions in one direction or the other, whether it be good or bad. And it dictates our behavior. So our values and identity are very crucial in deciding the very next letter of behavior. And that's our objectives. Understand the value of setting objectives is a whole new way and how to achieve them systematically will become a new habit. Most people fail because they don't do the simple things to make the changes necessary in a positive way to create a positive mindset, a passionate, progressive action that leads to create greater value inside of oneself, to build our identity, and it never will change as long as we stay with the same associations we have, as long as our belief system remains in the same state of mind. And I found that the objectives that we deal with have to be those objectives that follow the course of action of our dreams. If you get a blinder mindset and focus it on your objective, and you do that with a positive, passionate, persistent action. Boy, that's a mouthful to say. That's a lot of P's. Positive, persistent, passionate action. It creates a different you. It creates a different identity. It gives you better values. You will hang with people of better quality because you feel more comfortable in their presence than you do in the presence of those people that aren't doing the right things. But all of those things added together fall upon the last letter in the word behavior, and that's called retention. You know, we say to ourselves sometimes we're going to change, that we're going to do better, that we're going to be objective about our dream, that tomorrow we'll get up and we will spend all day learning something and passionately persisting and never giving up to make it better. But the reality of that is the first thing you know, something comes along that disrupts our day and we forget all about it. You know, positive retention, focused objectives develop habits that lead to values and our identity of who we are, both inside and out. And in doing that, it builds our belief system, strengthens our emotions, and creates good habits. In order to have a winning mindset, I believe Brian Tracy said it best. If you change your thinking, you change your life. And that made a lot of sense to me when I heard Mr. Tracy say that. By changing our thinking, we change our life. If we think we can, then we have a more positive outlook towards the things in life that we want to accomplish. But if we think we can't, then we're going to be negative, and the chances are that our tomorrow will be the same as our today. So, you know, if you want something different in life, folks, you got to do something different. Because if you do the same thing today that you did yesterday, your tomorrow is going to be the same as today and yesterday. So in order to have something different, you have to do something different. In order to do something different, you have to change your thinking. In changing your thinking, it'll change your habits. It'll change your identity. It will grow you in wisdom and knowledge and spirituality. It will level out the playing field of your emotions so that you're not manipulated and torn to and fro. And it builds a foundation inside of you of strength and character and improves your whole beliefs. But I can tell you this, do you realize that about 90% of the people have a negative mindset? They don't believe they can, so therefore they don't try. Or if they do try, their emotions overcome them and they fall back into their bad habits. They hang with the old crowd that's not doing any better than them because I believe that Brian Tracy said, show me the 5 people that you hang with every day or know or talk to each and every day, and I'll show you a copy of you and your lifestyle. So if you want success, you've got to hang with people of substance. You've got to look for those people that have a positive mindset, that have good habits, are focused upon their dream, that have high values and moral character, that believe that honor and integrity is above all else the most important thing that they can hold on to. You know, in life, you can lose everything you got except 2 things: your honor and your integrity. Those 2 items can never be taken from you. You must give them away. So I got to thinking about that, and I wanted to talk a little bit about team and what team really meant. You know, I was reading Ask C the other day, and you know, one of the questions there, Ask SC, one of the questions there was, how do I build a team of positive people or something to that effect? And I found that some of the answers that came across there were really valuable, and I learned something from them. Let's talk about a couple of them. One of them said building a team has lots to do with determination and the ability to persevere. And I thought about that for a minute. You know, that's probably 100% true. For you to build and hold on to your team or build a team, you have to set guidelines inside of a team structure, like Gary did when he set up the rules of success here at SFI. You know, to build a team, a real team with a real team spirit is not only attainable, it's possible, and it is also can be very lucrative and profitable, especially when everybody is pulling together, everybody's looking out for each other, everybody cares about the outcome of the other individual, and it leads to all of you as a team. There's no I. Let me tell you about, we talked about the I people, I this and I that. I is one person, and no one person stands alone. But invariably, when you start to build your team, everybody has different habits, different mindsets, different ways of looking at things. And what you have to do is find an even medium so that every person that comprises the team that you're building has value. In having value, maybe one person knows how to write up an HTML code. The other person may understand how to make a web page. Another person may be good at writing emails or copywriting. Another person may be good at talking to people and sponsoring. And you know, there are units in a team. everybody plays a function, not only on an individual basis, but as a group whole when you go to set up a team. Maybe one person's not as well educated as another, but he has none the less value as the intelligent individual, because you see, it takes management and it takes labor to make something come together and be realized. So maybe this guy that's very intelligent understands the values of how to put things together on paper, while this guy over here that doesn't have quite the same knowledge and education understands how to take what's on paper and put it into physical action. So each person has an intrinsic value when you're building a team. Never cull anybody in a team. Even the guy that can be the worst thing in the world as far as intelligence goes, if you would, the dummy, has something of value to offer. So let's talk about some of the qualities and character strengths that help you to build a spirited team. And I hope that I am, in your mind's eye, a person that is trying to build our team, that is lending a positive attitude and good habits and encouraging you to never give up and be persistent in your hope and in your dreams, and to believe in you from the inside out and to allow your light to shine. That is my goal. But when I thought about what are some of the qualities and characters of comprising a team, I realized that, first of all, as a leader, it was very important for me to have a firm and strong commitment to the people and to whatever the dream was or the business that I'm becoming involved with. And at SFI, they use many different ways to display what we call commitment. I overslept the other night, and I had become so habitual about my badge, my 30-day badge, because I got the 30-day badge, and by accident, I overslept one time and I lost it. So I had to work another 30 days to get that badge back. So I set out this month to have a perfect record. Every day to do all of everything that needed to be done VersaPoint wise to have a perfect record. I want you to know I woke up this morning at about 12:30 a.m. I'd fallen asleep, and the first thing that came to my mind was, oh my God, I've lost that badge. Well, you know, SFI gives us badges to us, and they show our commitment to the people that are going to follow us, that we're going to call a team. Now think about that. Do you want to follow a guy that is an affiliate that has a triple click badge, that hasn't even joined A2A, and would you feel comfortable with that person of following whatever they told you? Or would you rather follow somebody like Bing, has 18 badges, shows all of his years of diligence in acquiring and showing his commitment? Or like myself, I think I got 15. There's a lot of people got a lot more than I do. That shows that they have a well-rounded knowledge and commitment to what they're doing. You know, planning is a very serious part of every team. You got to put systems in place that weave themselves together. But more than that, help you to get to the destination and the goals that you want to achieve. Without a plan, I heard a man say one time, you could go out without a plan and you can work and you make a little money. And you can have the best plan in the world and not do any work and you're going to not make any money. And I kind of got it turned around a little bit the cart. First of all, you have no plan. Or you have a great plan and you do nothing. You make nothing. You have no plan, but you do something, so you make a little bit. But think about this. What if you had a plan and you worked the plan? Then now we start to see true success in abundance. You see, having a plan and working it each and every day, united with a group of people that are like-minded, surrounding yourself with people that are doing the same thing that you're doing every day, like Bruce was able to step in tonight, like Lyle is able to fill in and do so many skills that I can't. Maybe I can outspeak him, but likewise he can outdo websites, and he's a valued asset to me. So first we must commit to our dreams. Then we must set a plan, sit down and plan. And we need to set well-defined goals. And that means not only the one at the end, but that means the short-term goals for the team to maybe, let's say, help John. John doesn't have a lot of PSAs or CSAs. So what we want to do now is all of us that have got a few want to get together and we want to go help John and say, John, come on. We're going to help you get some PSAs or CSAs, and we're going to do this all together. And because we value you as a part of our team. So what have we done? Well, we've let John know that we care about him. We've encouraged John that it's not as hard as it really seems, because he knows now that he's got 2 or 3 people that are going to be there with him every step of the way to help him. But if we let John just stay over there to himself, and he sees us as a group continue to prosper, and we talk to him every now and then, we say, well, oh boy, you can't sponsor too much, I'll tell you what, somebody needs to just teach him how to do that. Well, are we being a team, or do we have the I mentality? Are we only focused upon us, or are we focused upon the group and what's good for it as a whole? So you see, when you build a team, and I'm an expert team builder, trust me, I am. You look for the values that are understated in each individual that you encounter, and then you take all of those values you see and you formulate a plan so that they look just like a wheel or cogs in a wheel coming together, and they mesh. And once you get a tight weave, it's hard to destroy or overcome that team, correct? Because it's tight. But if, likewise, that cog jams because of poor planning, or somebody doesn't want to help this one over there, or that one don't like that task, or this one says, well, I want to do that, but yet he may be the best at whatever he's, you need him to do. He's probably great at what you need, but he wants to be more. Well, that's the problem. People become selfish and they lack sacrifice because I gets back in their head, and they don't work as a team. You see, the janitor of a building is every bit as important as the president of the company. You stop and think about that. But each of them have different habits, different lifestyle, different values and beliefs. But nonetheless, when they all mesh together, they form a team and a company that blends. At SFI, we have every opportunity in the world to have the greatest team environment that you've ever seen. We're an international company. I believe, 190 countries, is it? Maybe more by now. We have the capability of talking to anybody in the world now with the age of technology. We can share our beliefs and our values. We have a common entity before us in SFI to where all of us realize that we make money from each other and the things that we do. By maybe I go out and for Bruce, I might advertise something he's got in his ECA store. Then again, I may be having a problem finding a place to generate traffic, and Bruce may be great at traffic generation. Or Cynthia Purnell may be great at cold calling and talking to people. And Serena may be great at explaining difficult things so that people understand them better. So we have many different values that form a team. And then what we have to do as leaders is see the value in each person and how, by joining all of those people together in a common bond with a focused purpose, and create a spirit inside of them that says we will, we can, and we are going to win, then even the janitor matters as much as the CEO, because we've given them value. We've created a plan and goals, and everybody feels what? Worth. You see, teams are built upon making people feel valued and feeling worth. I think the saddest thing I ever saw one time was a guy that was a foreman for Sylvania Corporation. And that was in Versailles, Kentucky, right outside of Lexington. And I was a young man, and I had gotten a job there, and I was working the line and the fluorescent light bulbs that you see up in the ceilings, the 8 foot, 4 foot. That's where they made them. And I started out in the room where the glass tubes come in, and you have to climb up on a ladder, and you have what looks like a rocker arm for a car, and these trays come down, and all these tubes are standing up, and you take this rocker arm and you press two levers and you shake those tubes so that the liquid that comes out of those rocker arms coats that tube evenly inside. And the line begins to move, and and you've coded it, and that slides, and there's another person that has a function, and their function is to pick up them glass tubes, turn them sideways, and set them on a roller that rolls them down into a machine. Another person makes sure that they line up with that machine, which is nothing more than a big well, or wheel, pardon me, not well, wheel. And that wheel, as that glass tube's lined up, falls down into a slot. The machine turns to it, it catches it on prongs, and then it catches the next one and the next one, and there's a big round wheel with glass tubes on it. And it starts to seal the glass, dry out all of the coating inside, and as it comes off the other side, it rolls down another conveyor and through an electrical machine that puts the caps on the end and the filaments. And it's not done yet. I mean, the caps and the end pieces. And then it rolls down to another machine that pulls a vacuum on your fluorescent light. And then to another machine that seals it electronically, and then into a bath. Out of that bath it comes, and another person handles it, and they send it on down to packing. Well, no, I'm sorry. They send it to test, and there are two different wheels that they test on. It rolls down, it grabs it, takes it up, lights it, rolls it over, kicks it out, rolls it down through one more bath, and it hits a tube, and it rolls it over and lights it, and then it comes to packing. And there are people standing there grabbing those tubes, sliding their arms and sliding them in boxes, shutting them down, setting them on pallets. Now, let me tell you what happens when somebody in the team forgets to do their job. It's amazing. Let me pull this headset off. What happens is that, let's say the guy that didn't straighten the tube up just right, and a tube gets cocked a little. These tubes go to exploding. Somebody has to get in amongst that glass. Now, it won't cut you. I've seen them explode 60, 70 light bulbs at a time, and it blows all around you, but it just hits you and bounces off. But it's scary because they're exploding and popping, pow, pow, pow. And you know that you've got to get that out of there that's jamming, or it's just going to destroy the whole line. So the point of what I'm trying to show you is each person in a team or in a line of assembly has a unique job and purpose that other people depend upon to reach the final product. So the one thing that we've always got to do and be ever conscious of is we need to set the example for those people that are around us. You have to lead by example. As I said earlier, you wouldn't want to follow me if I only had 2 badges, a 3rd grade education, and didn't know anything and thought I did. But you find value in me because I impart knowledge to you and encouragement and motivation. And I try to give you all the wisdom I have and tell you not only that, I build you up. I'm not here to tear you down. You see, the world's going to do that on its own. My job is to build you up, strengthen you inside, to build your spirit and your mind to a point that you fit as a whole, as a part of a team that's focused, so that you can lead by example, because what I do is what you'll do. I hear all the time, and I remarked earlier, and forgive me, But I remarked earlier that somebody had talked to me about how frustrated that they were that a sponsor wouldn't do anything to help their people and that they were having to train their CSAs. I spoke about that earlier. And how frustrating it was because it took so much time away that they couldn't really prospect and do the things they needed to do to build their PSAs up so that they could form a bonded team. And I thought about that. And I thought, is that sponsor really a leader? You know, there are a couple things I don't agree about with SFI. For the most part, I agree with 99% of everything at SFI. But the one thing I don't agree with is it says, don't worry about those people that don't want to do nothing, work with the workers. I'll grant you that I should be working with the active people in my team. But if that's all I work with, how will I grow? If I'm not reaching out to the inactive person on a constant basis, setting an example of leadership, trying to encourage them that they can do SFI, trying to make them understand that I really care about them and that I want to see them succeed, not for what I'll get out of it, because I'm going to succeed in SFI because of the team that I'm on. I'm going to be a part of that team and grow with that team and help to grow that team because my sponsor sets an example. I set an example and duplicate him. My people, as you can see, are setting an example of what I do, they're doing. And the people who come in beneath them, as you can see, was being replicated, and they had outproduced me. By me setting an example, my people were encouraged. They went out and got some people, and their people were encouraged. So the example we set creates the team framework and environment. And what occurs so often is we lose our patience with other people. We become frustrated because they don't answer our emails. We get to a point to where we just don't want to even try anymore. And that's a bad habit. Because if you do it one day, you'll do it again. And you may do it at a time when a kind word or one more try could have brought forth a superstar, and yet you let that slip away from you. So keep in mind, to form a very positive, spirit-filled team, you have to lead by example. You have to be committed and have a plan. You have to define the goals, both short term and long, of what you want to achieve, which is what we have. We have a goal board, and we have in our profile, we have goals there that we set when we first join. Like you want to be a bronze team leader by a certain date, or you want to be a platinum, or you want to be a silver, or you want to be a gold. What would you do if you had this? What kind of car would you drive? Where would you go? What would you do? These are all goals and commitments. And I see so much value in SFI for what it tries to teach and how it literally, I mean, Gary Carson is a genius, folks. You may not know that completely yet, but I'm telling you, this man is a genius. I have a doctorate in business, and my my thesis was international business law. So I know how to assess business structures and framework and to look for the weak links in a business that may cause it to collapse. Kelly Carson's doing all the right things. He offers the best training. He offers the best tools that you could ever need in the form of flyers and cards and stuff of that nature. He does it very economically, I might add. He creates an environment that you can earn from by helping your fellow man or helping yourself and selling what you have or by selling something for him. He creates a positive energy, and more so than that, he leads you down the road to form good habits by having you log in each day and do your tabs. Do you think you log in each day just to get a Versa point for each tab you do? He knows that if you go to that page and there's a delay on it of 8 seconds, that you're going to look at that page, at least look at it. And if you look at it and the information that's there is informative and contains knowledge that will help you to form a good habit, the point that you get is nothing compared to the value you've received. So what he's doing is teaching you in a very simplistic way a team mindset, a winning mindset. He shows you from square one how knowledge is king, how to increase your knowledge, how to understand the system, what it takes to be in business, what it takes to promote yourself and to promote others. He gives you the vehicle then and says, okay, go try this. And he shows you how to get there. He gives you the link and you go and you try it. And it may be a little awkward at first, but pretty soon he has you going through each step every day in a general way because he had a plan. His plan was to help you succeed. So he provided you with all of the necessary elements, and then he set the example by putting in front of you Versa points, if you would, in that form that said each day you need to log in and do your homepage tabs or your daily tabs. It's important when we form a team that we think about the structure from within. You know, I would have to say, in summary, that knowledge, commitment, perseverance, communication, encouragement, and leading by example are the elements that are most needed to create a strong, healthy environment for you and those people that you encourage to be a part of your team. By increasing your knowledge, you're able to impart to someone else that wants to learn and needs the knowledge, which helps them to grow. By forming a solid commitment that you believe in SFI and you believe in the owner and you believe in what his focus is and what his mission statement is, you form a commitment. Now, nobody said it would be easy. So this is where perseverance comes in. We have to persevere each day. We have to do things every day, and some days it's not always convenient for all of us. Some days I've worked 16, 17 hours and went to a hospital and counseled with a young couple that had some very desperate things happening in their life. And yet I went back to work and done whatever I needed to do, and then came and worked with SFI and the people in my team and prepared to be with you to share my love and my knowledge and wisdom to encourage you to be the best you could be. Some days that's not real easy, so I persevere. But most of all, I try to always communicate in a way that it's uplifting to the people around me, in a way that it gives worth, that it creates a sense of I learned something. I think probably one of the true examples of that was, and forgive me, Rita tonight in the chat. She says, "Can we have the seminar, pretty please?" She showed me that she valued coming so that she could hear me speak because it lifted her and it engaged her in such a way as to cause her to think and to make her feel better about herself and encourage her to be a part of the whole and to help her team in a more positive way. And that was all summed up in I, I, I want to hear the seminar. Great, the contest to be there tomorrow. We got 30 days. Give me something to take away that's going to bless me and encourage me. And, so commitment, perseverance, and communication lead to what? Encouragement. She needed words of encouragement. She needed, you know, if you discourage people and you have a discouraging personality, you destroy any chance of building a decent team. When any of your team members works hard, you've got to try to compliment them and encourage them and put them before the masses in such a way. And we see it every day in the stream. Congratulations on your 50 VersaPoint win in the grand, in the daily grant. Congratulations on making EA. Congratulations. It's called encouragement. People want to be recognized for the smallest of achievements. And in so doing that, it lifts them up one more step each time. And it's kind of like teaching a small child to walk. When you lift them up and they take your fingers, they're wobbly and they do this, that. But the more that you work with them, the more their balances increases. Pretty soon they're able to turn loose and walk on their own. Well, building a team is no different. It's like taking a child and teaching it to walk. You have to persevere. You have to have commitment. You have to communicate with the child words of encouraging nature. And most of all, you got to make them feel that they can do something. You can do it. Come on, Johnny. Come on. Come to me right here. My fingers are that close to you. And they may only be 2 inches apart. But that first step that Johnny takes is the biggest step for the rest of his life because he showed faith and trust. So people have to learn faith and trust in you. They have to know that they don't care how much you know till they know how much you really genuinely care about them. Bing and I don't stand to profit anything from this contest. But you couldn't know how much we really cared and wanted to see you succeed because in your successes, we find our successes because you're going to grow people under you. And everything comes back up. So you encourage down in your team, if you would. I'm sure if you've been in network marketing for any length of time, positive goes down, negative comes up. If you got something negative to say, call me. And I'll try to give you some positive reinforcement. But what, for God's sake, when you talk to that teammate or that other person that's there on A to A, be nothing but positive, encouraging. Communicate with them the good part of the business and come to me or Bing or some of your upline to get your answers. Because I'm going to give you a positive down. And you can give me all of your negative up and leave it with me, and we'll get rid of it. And that'll allow you to go back and be positive with the people that you surround yourself with every day. Form good habits, increase your knowledge, feel your worth. It'll teach you that if I lead and show an example, then you can lead and show an example, and someone else will lead and show an example. If you call me and I said, look, I ain't got time for that mess. I'm busy. I'm a doctor. I counsel people. I run a company. How long would I be your friend? Or would I even be a friend at all? But I guarantee you, if you call me and say, Dr. King, I really am trying to understand something. I've got this little difficulty here. Maybe you could shed some light on it for me. My statement to you is going to be what I would expect somebody else to say to me if I were answering that same question. And I suggest to you that you empower yourself with that same kind of mindset, a winner's mindset, that those people who come to you always have time for them. Always make time to create a positive environment for them by leading by example, being encouraging, communicating with them, persevering, and showing them that your commitment is something that they can do and that the people behind them can do. So when we talk about a winning mindset, we talk about our behavior, which is comprised of our beliefs, our emotions, our habits, our associations, our values, our identity, about our objectives, and our retention. And when we talk about team, we talk about those things that are crucial to our growth in such a way that we must increase our knowledge. We must persevere, be committed, We must learn the arts of communication and encouragement in order to duplicate, and we must lead by the example that we want them to do. When you see me up high on the leaderboard, then that encourages you that you can do it, because I'm no better than you. I don't have any more money than any of you. I work hard every day. I just happen to care and love people. So I try to set the example for you of what you should do for the people that you encounter. And that's my only goal, is to impart to you an example of how the person I would like to be would do the things he is supposed to do. I ask you to do the same thing. And to always remember, I'm encouraged, and I'm about to close, and it ain't gonna take 30 minutes to get it done. I was so encouraged that Bing called me Friday morning about 6:45 a.m. He says, David, he says, I'm about to uh, said Ruth is nagging me. She wants me to eat breakfast so we can get on the road and we can get about our trip. He said, but I just had to call you for a minute. He said, David, he says, I've been invited to speak at our school reunion. And he said, I would like you to know that I'm going to speak on the 7 words, the most powerful words that I've ever heard that you gave in your first webinar. And I thought, that is amazing. Here is a very well-educated man, very secure, very well-seated in life, had found value in what I shared with him, to the point that he wanted to share it with someone else. Let me tell you, that's a humbling thing when someone of Bing's stature looks at you and says, would you give me a little more advice? He said, I will be reviewing that webinar before I go. And I have 3 rules that I use when I speak before a live audience. And you might want to be reminded of these should you ever be called upon to speak. 1, before I even get there, I'm already rehearsed, and I've outlined it, and I've worked with what I'm going to say for 3 or 4 days. I have some kind of a fixed plan of what I want to accomplish before I begin to speak. When I get there are 3 things that I do. 1, for me, this is what works. I pray and ask God to bless me in such a way that the words that I speak shall be uplifting in their nature and shall impart love and courage and compassion and wisdom. I always pray before I speak. 2, I focus on a center point in the back of the room, and I don't look at any one particular individual. Because when you look at one individual, you lose your train of thought, where if you focus across the crowd, you become a part of that crowd, and your speech carries to all of them as opposed to just one person. And the third thing I always do is I try to leave those people with a smile with the gift of knowledge and with all the love that God allows me to impart to them in such a way through what I say to them, that they feel blessed that they were there and that they will do the same for whoever they meet the next day by me leading by example and setting an image. I hope that I accomplished that. Those are the three things that are important to me. I pray, ask God to guide me. I focus on the room as a whole and not one individual, because everyone in the room is there to hear what I have to say. And I hope that what I left, I don't care if they remember me, but more that they remember what I spoke about and the values and the commitment and perseverance and encouragement and uplifting words that I left with them will empower them to live with a winning mindset and will help them to build a great team, a great business, live their dreams, and be financially secure as they prosper at SFI. God bless all of you. Thank you for wanting to hear me speak. I'm blessed each and every Saturday. I do truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day or evening or night to be here. Take care now. I'm Dr. David King. Until next Saturday. God bless all of you.